about the numbers earlier. So the attendance figures over the 4 days was in the region of over 5,000 supporters, both for Davis Cup as well as the surrounding festivities for the Singapore Tennis Festival. It's the best ever attended tennis competitions in Singapore. Part of the topic of the month for this month is composure in big game environments. This being probably, like you said, it's the first time the team playing in such an environment. How beneficial is it for the team in terms of experience, and also how crucial do you think this kind of exposure is for our Team Singapore athletes?
I think we all handled the crowd really well. Personally, for me, I think I love playing in front of a crowd. It's just super cool, super fun. You don't really get tired compared to playing out in front of 5 people. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, I think it's very important to try and get that experience for other younger athletes trying to represent Singapore in the future in these big matches, in these big games. And I think it does come. It comes with experience, and it comes by playing a lot of tournaments, a lot of big games. You learn from each match. We had a really tough defeat against Sri Lanka. It was a huge match, and we just missed it by a bit. We had 2 match points. But these are the sort of things that you go home, you learn, and when the same situation arises, you just do something a bit better next time, and you'll probably pull through if it comes.
Fate of Singapore, of course, in the Davis Cup, whether we remain in Group 3 or we get relegated, we'll know soon enough in the next month. But back to the topic of the month, I'm going to ask Duncan here. Same topic on point. We also talked about this earlier for the football segment. How critical is it for our athletes to have that kind of exposure?
I think like Shaheed said, sport is such a fine line where it just takes one moment where you can be the winner or the loser, and it was really, really close against Sri Lanka. I think everyone was hooked during that match, and it is an experience you learn from mistakes, and not really a mistake on their part, but on close situations, on tight situations, how to manage it in the future. You would play back in your mind, what did I do right, what did I do wrong in those situations in the past, and that comes with experience. But also touching on about maybe plying a trade overseas, and we see the likes of Iksan and Irfan Fandi schooling as his swimming education as well from the States. And so there's just a different way of challenging a professional athlete mentally in a different environment. Sometimes we all get a little too comfortable where we are, and you just need to step out of your comfort zone, and you learn different things as well. So add to the fact that perhaps maybe, and Shaheed can answer this, if there is an opportunity to go for an overseas training stint, not necessarily live and play overseas, but just an overseas training stint, and I'm sure that there's been opportunities in the past for yourself. How valuable is that, and how does that help mentally and physically for an athlete playing with overseas players?
Yeah, it's I think it's very, very important. Going overseas for maybe not so long, but maybe like a 3 to 4 month stint, it can be very beneficial for an athlete, because you read into the minds of other athletes from other countries, and you see how, for example, the Japanese thing in this situation compared to you, and you learn different things, and you come home, and when the situation arises, you think of that moment where you learn that extra thing that you need, and you use it to good use, and you probably pull through in those situations. And yeah, I think, but for tennis it's a bit difficult to just stay overseas, because there are tournaments all around the world, so you're always just jumping around tournament to tournament. So sometimes during the off season, we try to go overseas. I had the opportunity to go to Cambodia one time, where there were about 10 to 12 professional players that came down, and we all trained together, and it was an amazing experience. I learned so much from them, their mindset, their attitude towards training, towards competition. It was a great learning experience for me.
Well, perhaps maybe the viewers do have an opinion on this. Should athletes test themselves and go out and ply their trade overseas, or just gain experience overseas and maybe benefit from them? We would like to hear your thoughts on that. Leave it in the comments section and let us know your thoughts.